If you're a black person and you're considering visiting or living in Miami and you don't really understand how this city works, let me break it down for you. I've lived in Miami pretty much my entire life. This is just the lay of the land. Number one, if you're going out, you're going to find black people in pockets, in certain clubs, certain restaurants, certain spaces. And depending on the community you're in, you'll find them there. For example, if you go to a Victory Lounge, you're looking for, black people, you want to eat, you want to have a lounge experience. If you go to Jamaican parties, you're going to find Jamaican people. It's not a city where black people are everywhere. If you're trying to go out and you're trying to find other people, you're going to have to look up Miami black blank if that's the type of music you're going to go to.
I'm not exactly sure of the Miami party promoter drama that's going on TikTok right now, but I want to give my 2 cents in. As someone that grew up in Florida and as a dark-skinned queen, for years, I've been saying that Miami is by far the worst city for black women in America, specifically if you're darker than a paper bag.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. In case you're new here, my name is Maren.
And I'm Maureen.
Right, so guys, we came across a video on TikTok of a black American creator who was talking about her experience living in Miami, and this is because a lot of people had asked her about her experience here. So in this episode, we've put together a video of black people who live in Miami, and they're talking to their fellow black Americans about what to look out for when they either visit or move to Miami.
Right, so in this video, both black Americans and biracials who are black Americans are going to be telling us their experiences. And as we understand, in Miami is predominantly Hispanic community,
right.
And most of them here point out the fact that there is segregation in Miami for the most part.
Right.
But why do they come to this conclusion? Let's watch this video and then you come back and talk about it. You can also leave us a comment on what you think about this episode, or if you've ever been to or visited Miami, what was your experience there?
Right.
Consider subscribing if you're new to our channel, and we'll see you after this video.
You would think because you're in Florida and it's diverse and there's a lot of culture, that living in an environment like that would be positive for black women. But I have not had more discriminatory experiences in nightlife than I have in Florida, and I live in Texas now, and that's literally why I live in Texas now. I had to move across the country just to get treated fairly in nice places. I have literally been kicked out of a section for being dark-skinned. The men treat you differently, the women treat you differently. Everyone thinks that they're better than you because they're lighter than you. And you're gonna be like, oh no, that's just your insecurities. No, babes. I came to Dallas, Houston, and was treated like the bad bitch 1,000 out of 10 that I am. I mean, getting invited into sections, getting free drinks, party promoters reaching out to me to come out. But in Florida, you would think I was begging on my hands and knees to get let into this club. So I'm glad that Florida specifically is being ousted as the racist state that it is. I mean, racism and colorism is everywhere, but they don't care about it in Florida. They literally promote it. You can go to a black-owned place of business and no woman there will not be darker than a paper bag. And they will treat you like scum as a dark-skinned person, as a dark-skinned woman, and their establishment, as if you're not giving them your green money. So that's my...
Y'all hear about how those Hispanics treated black people at Ryder's Logistics? It was horrible. They made they created 2 different production lines. One for Hispanics, where the Hispanics was doing all the easy work, and then another production line for the black people, where they did all the hard labor. And then on top of that, they made the black people work 16-hour shifts. They wouldn't give them breaks. Matter of fact, they were really derogatory, telling them, oh, you're big and black. You don't deserve a break. You could work through it. And then this black woman, she told her testimony how they used to call her ancient mama and the N word in Spanish. And she reported it to her supervisors, but her supervisors were also Hispanic. And you know what they told that black lady? Oh, that's their culture. Oh, it's your culture to be racist, anti-black. They treated all the black people there horribly, right? Even the black man, they called them silverback gorillas and was waving bananas at them. Like, and nobody did anything about this. Because mind you, the supervisors are also Hispanic. It's our culture. The white man had to step in and hit him with that lawsuit. Look it up. Riders Logistics lawsuit, Southern California.
The black workers also were doing the heaviest or the hard manual labor, heavy lifting, and the non-black workers were doing the lights, easy work, light work. We were working these long hours and sweating, and the supervisors wouldn't let the black workers get water or take bathroom breaks. We had to wait. They said, "You're big and black."
I just wanted to address this comment that was left on under this post. I in no way I am like negating what this person commented, because historically Miami has been racist. Like, let's talk about how on South Beach, black entertainers couldn't even stay in the hotels, like Fountain Blue. Black people could not stay in those hotels. They would have to cross over the bridge and stay in like Overtown or whatever. So yeah, Miami has historically been racist. Yes. I can only speak from my experience of living in Miami. I've been in South Florida 7 years, but I lived in Miami for 4 of those 7 years. And I personally have not experienced any racism. Now, it's not to say that it's not there, but Miami is also truly neighborhood-wise, it's divided. You know, depending on what neighborhood you live, you will only see certain type of people, and that's just how it is here. I used to live downtown Miami, and in my experience, I used to live and work in downtown Miami, so I would walk to work and walk home from work, and the only black people that I would see besides myself would be the doorman that would greet me when I left my building. People think Miami is so diverse. It is. It's diverse, but like I said, it's very segregated. So when I first came to Miami in 2009, I stayed in South Beach because I didn't know any better. And, you know, that's where everyone goes. And you saw a lot of black people there. You saw a lot of black people on South Beach. But you have to realize that majority of those people on South Beach are tourists and they don't live in Miami. So when I lived in downtown Miami and I was like, yo, where the black people at? Like, I'm asking, like, where black people at? They're not there. They're not there in like downtown. They're not there in like the Brickell area, Coral Gables. Like, it's very few of us. Now, I don't live in that area anymore. The area that I decided to reside in Miami is more of a mixed community, and I'm not the only black person. And even when I go out to dine or establishments, I try to support just black owned businesses because the service is usually 100 times better. They understand me and they give me great service. So Miami can be hella racist. So I encourage everyone to support black owned businesses. When you visit Miami, when you come here and you live here or you're visiting, look up black establishments to support and spend your dollars there.
Miami is predominantly Hispanic, and they run things. That's just the lay of the land, just what it is. Most of the time, if you just go out to a club on a random day, you're going to find Hispanic people. You're going to listen to Hispanic music. You're going to be in areas, especially affluent areas. It's going to be predominantly Hispanic. Now, there are a lot of tourists that come in and out of the city, but regardless, that's just what it is. With that being said, you can find all different types of food. You may have to drive a little bit, depending on, if you're looking for Haitian food or Jamaican food or Nigerian food. You can find it, but you're going to have to look for it. It's not in every corner. Now, if you want Cuban food or Hispanic food or pollo tropical or something, that's everywhere. You can find that everywhere. I always say Miami is not a melting pot. It's a tossed salad. So there's a lot of different cultures here. They're not mixing, but you can find everywhere. Now, is Miami racist? It can be, depending on where you are, what you're doing. I've had instances where I'll go eat with a group of my friends and the waiter or waitress is treating us strange at an establishment I've been to prior. So a lot of times it depends on who you're dealing with, but racism is everywhere, and just because it's not predominantly white people here does not mean that other groups of people do not have discriminatory ideologies towards us. I've been in instances where, you know, I'm with a promoter and we're going to a club and all of a sudden they're turning us away because there's too many black people in our crew. Like, there are these instances, they're not common, but they do exist, which is why a lot of black people, when they go out, they just go out to areas where they know people are going to be like them. They don't want to deal with it. They don't have to deal with it. It's just what it is. All in all, I think Miami has, you know, if you're looking for weather preferences, if you like the beach, if you like to shop, if you like to turn up, this is the city for you. If you're looking for something a little bit more artistic, just come for Art Basel and leave. This is not the place to find a jazz spot or a poetry lounge or people who are in that scene. This is not a fashion capital, it's a swimwear capital. This is a place where you're going to see BBLs left, right, and center. This is a place where, you know, people are beautiful, but they may be entitled, but they may lack substance. They may be not people that will go the long way with you. There are exceptions to the rule, like myself, who has grown up in Miami, so I wouldn't say I'm a product of Miami, but in general, finding people with depth here is going to be difficult.
So I'm from New York and I just got back from Miami like a week ago, and I was just sitting back and reflecting on the cultural differences between New York and Miami. And one of the things that I was just thinking about, which nobody really talks about, is this weird underlying obsession with girls being like exotic and foreign. And I really hate using those terms because they just like, they ick me out. Like, I feel like it dehumanizes people so much when you say shit like, oh my god, you're exotic. I'm not a fucking bird, but for the sake of the video, I'm using those terms because that is word for word what I was hearing other people saying there. I noticed that there was this very strange obsession with being like mixed with something, which I'm really not used to in New York, because I feel like in New York it's like you are what you are and you're very proud of that. Like, if you're black, you're black and you say that and you're proud of that. Like, if you're Latino, you say that you're proud of that. If you're Asian, you're Asian. It's like everything, because it's very diverse, people are very accepting, yada yada yada. In Miami, it was different though. It was like everyone was asking you constantly in your business, like, what are you mixed with? Well, what are you? Are you Latina? Are you, like, I thought it was very bizarre to a degree I had never experienced before. Mind you, I'm Haitian American. I never really get any issues when I tell people I'm Haitian American, other than maybe a couple of ignorant people here and there who make ignorant comments. But like, for the most part, I just say that it's like, okay, conversation is over, move on. But it's like, when I was saying this to people in Miami, it was like, what? Literally, I got approached at the beach. I was at Miami Beach and someone approached me and was like, oh, well, what are you mixed with? First of all, where's hello, hi, how are you? No, but they jumped to, what are you mixed with? I was very fucking confused, and I was honestly annoyed because I hate questions like that. I genuinely hate them. And I was like, I'm Haitian, I'm black, because that's what I tell people all the time, and that's never in New York, that's never an issue. People, again, it's like, end of conversation, move on. He was like, no, that can't be possible. There has to be more. You have to be mixed with other things. And he went on and proceeded to tell me how in Colombia, there's women who look exactly like me, but they're not black, and they would never identify with being black. I'm like, that sounds like a personal issue, and I don't really know what to tell you.
So So guys, welcome back. Let us know what you think about the videos we just played. You know what makes this episode interesting is because of what has been going on in America, especially after the elections. And now we've seen a lot of Hispanic communities coming out, the creators from that community coming out and calling out their own people on the racism and discrimination they normally have towards black people.
And even some of them saying that black people and Hispanic people have always been like this, and sometime back, I think it was early last month or the other month, January, some of our African YouTubers went to Miami. There is one in particular we follow called African Tigress. I don't know how many of you know her. So she went, amongst the places she has visited is Miami. And I remember asking myself in her vlogs as I was seeing, where are all the black people? Where are all the black people? So in this episode, some of the women have said that if you want to find black people, you can find them in pockets. So you have to search where to mingle with them. Like, for example, if it is restaurants or in just clubs, public spaces. And as we understand, someone here the lady in a pink shirt, she was saying that in her time living in Miami, she didn't see the integration of all these cultures. She says that Miami has many different diverse cultures, but all live separately. They don't mix or mingle as such.
And you ask yourself, you're wondering why, if a representation of these groups in one place such as Miami, because we have a predominantly Hispanic community there, if they can't exactly mingle, what about the whole entire country? So the experiences that have been described in this video, especially there's one who was talking about that organization that had Hispanics and blacks working separately, and Hispanics had the lighter shade of work, and black people had the more difficult
They were
tasks.
being mistreated where they were working
And being called even out of their names, racial slurs. And I'm telling myself, these kinds of stories are the stories that really make it hard for the black community and the Hispanic community to truly mingle and integrate, because at the very back of their minds, everybody knows who everybody is.
And everybody, the Hispanics that is, operate under the saying of Mejora la Raza. They want to improve their genes. So maybe this is one of the reasons why they don't want to mix with the black people. And those who work with black people treat them like they're next to animals. And someone here said that, and you find black people going to spaces where they are wanted because they just simply do not want to deal with the discrimination in Hispanic spaces,
And people tend to gravitate towards a place where there's acceptance and they're loved, and they tend to resist places that I normally hear a lot of times black Americans say, I go where I'm wanted, So there's a reason why in Miami, really, you can't really find them with ease like that, because I feel like they've been shown loud and clear. It has been communicated by the groups who live there that they're not wanted there, which is quite sad.
Neither are they ready to shift on their mentality.
Because I feel like if it's a question of integration, it would have already happened if the ones with the problem had just wanted it to happen, or if they would get rid of the discrimination policies they have. Anyway, guys, I don't know what you can say about this video. I don't want to talk much because personally I don't have that experience. We just presented the experience of others, but we'd appreciate it so much if you could let us know what you think about this episode in the comment section. We'd really like to hear about your experiences or thoughts on the comment section. As usual, we want to thank you so much for joining us on this episode. Let's catch you on the next road to 100,000 subscribers
and a party, possibly maybe a meal with you. Yes.
We don't know what we'll do when we hit 100K. Don't leave without subscribing if you're new here, right?
Right.
Yeah. So we'll catch you on our next episode.